Hi everybody. I've done a bunch of mugs and some bowls that I'd like to just go over the glazes with you before I forget to do all of this. And this video follows the video that I did on the spectacular clay, the one that I said would. It's kind of a. It's it's the same type of clay that speckled buff is, only it has a bunch more of the spots in it than speckled buff. This is spectacular, and as you can see, it's just got way more little spots or specks than anything else. So some of these mugs are with that particular clay, and for example, this one is just plain old. This is plain old buff with no specks in it. There may be a few specks from my splash pan that I've used water from, or used some clay out of there to make the handle or something. These four mugs right here are, these three are using the spectacular clay, and this one is not, but this is spectacular clay, and I've used this is Standards Frosty Turquoise is the glaze on this. There's a lot of specks in that. And just for your information, I did do a test on this, an acid test for 24 hours, and found no change in the glaze or in those little specks. So I would say that this is food safe for sure. If you ever want to do one of the tests that I do is I put a lemon, or some people do vinegar. They'll put vinegar in the bottom of a pot and leave it for 24 hours undisturbed. And if there's any change in the glaze, that means you may have a problem with certain types of food. So that's how I do a test with a slice of lemon. So this has got a little bit of that spectacular in the lid, but basically this particular mug is just plain with the frosty turquoise, excuse me. And I like to make these mugs with some of them with lids, and then I put a little vent hole in it because I know a lot of people that drink tea and they like to have a lid. So this one also has a lid. This is spectacular clay, and the base of it is Mako Shino, and then I put iron luster over on the inside. So I have sea spray on the inside, Mako Shino on the outside, and then I dipped the rim probably about an inch down with iron luster, and it ran quite a bit on the inside. I just love the inside there. And so got a deep red, or kind of a Merlot color without having put Merlot on it, but I've got that deep red around the rim of that, and that looks real pretty. And that one has its own lid. So that can be used for tea. This, shout out to Old Forge on YouTube. He made a mug, and what I was trying to do with these little, I need 3 hands here. What I was trying to do was duplicate what he does with his little impressions here, where these little divots are. And on the inside, he usually has a more dramatic effect than I got with the glaze I was using. But you can see the little divots on the inside of this. And he gets something called a peacock eye with his glaze. I'll have to experiment with more or different kinds of runny glaze to achieve the same effect. However, I love the shape of this mug or cup. I copied the shape as much as I could from what I saw him do. This rim is great to drink from. It feels real good when you put it to your mouth. And I love this little design with the little divots there. So, and this has been a real popular little mug. Everybody that I've shown it to likes it. So this is, this glaze, let's see, this is Mako Turquoise on top of the Spectacular Clay. And this really did cover, I mean, it really sealed in those little specks. And so I've got 3 coats of Mako Turquoise and iron luster on the inside, and it turned kind of green. And then I've got Arctic blue around the top. I just sort of tapped it into the Arctic blue. And so that's what I have around the rim. So thank you to Old Forge. That's a great design, and I really do like it. And I'm going to keep trying on that peacock effect that you get in on the inside of that. This is Spectacular Clay also. It has copper float on the outside, sea spray on the inside. This is sea spray on the inside with just a tiny bit of Arctic blue, bing, right into the dip, and you can barely tell that there's a dip on the inside of it. And then there's kind of a black, turned black on the rim. It's real shiny though and real slick, so it feels good to drink out of it. But that turned out to be a real good combination. These 2 mugs right here, both of these are iron luster. Let's see, 3 coats of iron luster, and then Arctic blue, about a 1/2 inch dip of Arctic blue. And you can see the blue shows up. The blue ran quite a bit because I can detect blue all the way down into here, but mostly it stayed right up here. But that turned out to be a really pretty, very pretty effect on that. So that's a good combination. I'll probably use that again. Now this one has already found a home, and I did 2 of them exactly the same. And these, what did I do with these? This is Indigo Float with Arctic Blue, Potter's Choice Arctic Blue around the rim. And so the Arctic Blue, in fact, the Indigo Float will run, but Arctic Blue on top of Indigo Float just has a beautiful effect. So if you can see the inside of that. It ran, it's got a little bit of green around the rim. This is Spectacular Clay. And on the break, where it breaks on the texture, it is green. It is just as green as it can be, dark green. It looks black probably on the video. That one almost ran off the edge. Look at the bottom there where it got really close to going overboard there, that Indigo Float. And there's that green up at the top of the rim where it breaks. Two very beautiful mugs. Just beautiful. Those turned out really well. Here's a little stray. I don't know if I have this on another video or not. This is, I don't know what that is, but it's got Arctic blue and indigo float on it, I can tell you that, and a little bit of Merlot there in the middle because I can see that purplish color. I love this mug. I like the shape of it. I like the shape of the handle. I like the proportion of the handle to the size of the mug. This is a little bit smaller mug than most of these are. And I've actually used this one. I like to use what I make. That way, I mean, otherwise, for example, if I wasn't using what I was making, I wouldn't know that this is a great design. These are great designs too. They feel really good on the rim. But this one, for some reason, this one and this one, I really like using. Let's see, what have I not covered? These are real popular for bathroom glasses to use, like when you're brushing your teeth and everything. These are sea spray over Mako turquoise, and that's all that is. They're beautiful. I love that. I like it for Mako. The Mako doesn't run, but the sea spray does, and so putting that combination together is pretty safe because it just didn't run well. It ran, but it stopped exactly where it should have stopped. So those were excellent. This one is Mako turquoise on white clay. This is probably porcelain. And then Arctic blue on top of it. You can see that Arctic blue is electric. It has just a very vibrant electric blue color no matter what you use it on. Even if you use it on top of something as dark as iron luster, it still retains its own character and has that electric color. Okay, so let me show you these bowls. I had these bowls, and I've run these through the kiln twice. This is a set of bowls. It has Merlot and iron luster and some indigo float on them. And I didn't have enough. I guess I just wasn't happy with the saturation of color, and so I put some more on it and ran it through the kiln again. Now in the center of this, you can see there's some Merlot showing through the little sunburst there, and then which one is it? Let's see, it would be the iron luster on top of that would be making that kind of yellowish little burst in the middle, and then the rest of it is indigo float. I was careful on the outside not to put too much indigo float because it runs, and I wanted some of that Merlot to show. Let's see, to show on the outside. So basically these are very similar. You got a nice dark red around the top where it breaks over the texture, and these turned out really well. I mean, it's a great. It turned out to be a really good glaze. Nicely done. No bubbles. These are very good, and this is a nice little set of bowls. Okay, so that's it for this group. As you can see over here, I'm in the process of doing some more glazing. I'm kind of slow at all of this, so that's the reason I don't don't get a lot done. I've had a lot going on in my life lately, so I've just priorities, you know. Some things get to the top of the list quicker than others. So if you have any questions or comments, just feel free to put those in the video below. I always like to hear from you and get your opinion on what you like the best. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.